Hello, my name is Swiss Bianco. In this video we will have a look at the feldmesser 81 from Glock. The Glock knife, in this case the version with the saw blade, sawback on the blade and a grey polymer handle and sheath. We already had a look at the olive green, the green version. I made a video on that knife a while back. So to my surprise, for Christmas, a grey version did show up as a gift. That's a great gift item and I like it a lot. So they make the feldmesser 81 in different variations with and without the sawback. It's called the 78 model just without the saw. The saw gives you a bit additional feature on the blade, and I think it was a great idea to add this, especially since the saw is nearly free sawing. We don't have much distance between the saw and the blade where the blade then gets thinner. Of course, as you use the saw blade you need to be careful. There is a sharp knife edge as well, and they make those knives for now many decades. 78 they started, and then in 1981 the sawback version was added. I think the colors came a bit later on. First it was only mainly black, maybe the green version also for the military use, but grey and brown, like FDE brown, that came later on, as that was the hype or in a trend. And it's simply the same knife, just they changed the coloring on the polymer, the pellets that they use for injection molded parts, like we have it here. So this is basically used as a knife, but there are some more features. Basically the part here can be used as a bottle opener as well if you want to do that. It's also part of the bayonet mount, together with that plug here. That plug that is at the end can be removed. We have to press in on both tabs. It has two holes, and then the plug can be taken out and an adapter can be fitted, so you can actually use this knife as a bayonet as well. So say in the Austrian military, I'm not 100% exactly sure if they use that knife as the bayonet. Some of you that were there, they can tell that better. Minimum for export, and that is what I had back then on the AUG, was a bayonet mount available, standard Stanag for the NATO bayonets. So that if you have a bayonet that say fit the R15 M16 series, then you could mount that on the AUG, at least the Steyr AUG. At least the flash hider had the same diameter that a regular standard bayonet would fit, so there was no problem in that regards, and that's what I used back then, together with Eichhorn, made in Solingen, Germany, bayonet, the original Eichhorn company back then, not that got later on sold to some other people, but that's a different story. Anyway, so here in USA, for a knife that is multi-purpose, more of a field knife, of an outdoor knife, such an item for sure is a good choice. The blade steel is not the absolute best, and we see it has a bit of shiny finish. So I still wondered about Glock. Glock has a bit a strange marketing. It's now 2025. They could have make the blade out of a correct, way modern, good quality stainless steel. They could put on a more matte finish on it. Also, if we look at the stamped parts by the guard, we see quite some stamping I would not say defects, but rough spots where they stamped the part out and bended it. There we see from the bending a bit, and that basically all around the side of the guard. We have that on that one too. Interestingly, some of the parts here are a little bit different stamped out than by that one. Maybe this is an older piece, and or they used a different stamping die because it did wear out. Anyways, does that matter? Well, for us in USA, for the collectors, quite likely it matters a bit. That could be all done nicer. Minimum, say, on the level of a K-bar. That is not perfect, but looks better. Also, for whatever reason, we still have that gap between the guard and the handle. Quite, I would say, a millimeter on the green one too, so it's not anything out of spec. That is the way how that is mounted. Why they cannot push in the blade all the way in the handle so you don't have a gap there, I don't get that, but that is how that is. Does it affect the function? Quite likely not. We have the blade and the guard coated, so if some rain or fluid would get in, it just gives you a bit a sticky mess. Say if you for the Swiss military, the typical thing was that they dropped by accident, of course, the Swiss Army knife into a sweet tea or something, and then everything got locked up and sticky and all that. And that would be here, of course, the same case. You could theoretically fill it with a glue or something, a sealer. That would be possible too. Maybe some people even do that, but yeah, like this, it doesn't look too amusing, but for sure it works. We have the regular flat ground blade. Sharpening out of the box is pretty good. That is amazing for what it is. That's one of the better sharpened blades that I get brand new out of the box, and the saw blade and the quality of the workmanship is really good for what it is. We have the Glock logo on the handle there. For whatever reason they wanted to have it this way and that way there, not the opposite way as we have it usually on knives or most items. Then what is important is the sheath, of course. We have here that dimple, and on the other side too, that is for interlocking with the part there. So this part is a bit like spring loaded by the polymer tab there, so that interlocks. We just have a basic, maybe 70s 80s style sheet. There are no holes or leashing points where you can mount it on a backpack, on gear or something. We have a drainage hole on the bottom. We have a hole there for a piece of cord that you can put around say your leg. We have a belt loop that can be opened. It's just snapped into place. You can open that up. You have quite a big size belt, because that is for the military, so 3 inches will fit. On top, inside there, we have a tab, so as the knife is hanging down on the belt, that tab pinches a bit on the belt, so the whole item not gonna rattle around. Really nice detail. You can take it on and off without removing the belt, as I say, with that interlocking system here. That is good, and it's pretty sturdy and all. The knife locks into the sheath there, and that from both sides, so it doesn't matter if you want to carry it on the left or right hand. You see the hook there. As you push it in, it simply snaps into place. Again, on both sides, you simply have to press up and drag the knife out. so it will not fall out. We have a little bit of rattle. That is typical by such sheets, and the drainage hole, I did say. So, and of course by each color, the knife handle and the sheet are the same color. Of course you can switch it out. The black one is black, all over black. So I think the sheet is, for what it is, a good solution, but how much more would that knife be useful if they would offer a more modern sheet with leashing points? Maybe not with absolute locking part, but a bit more of a friction version, like by a Kydex, so that you don't have to press on the tab to remove the knife to get it out of the sheet. So there are a lot of little points that could be done better or different for our days 2025, and that is a bit the sad part of it. So far the Glock people did fail to modernize, or at least offer limited editions, you know, for the US market, limited editions that would for sure sell really well. After all, it's only a knife. It would be legal to own here in USA in almost any places. So yeah, so what I gonna try to do is make a Kydex sheet now, especially since I have two of them. In time I gonna make a Kydex sheet with some more leashing points, so the whole thing gonna be also a bit more flatter. We see it's relative thick and bulky. We're gonna have hollow rivets, eyelets on the side, so that we can actually leash the item and use it a bit in more different ways to carry it, because the knife as it is like that is pretty good for using. It's just the sheet that often prevents a bit or is a bit more problematic to use nowadays. So that much about the grey version of the Glock field knife. Thanks again to the person that gifted that to me for Christmas. Really nice surprise, and one Glock more in the collection.